Welcome to the very first episode of Comfort Matters.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited to kick things off with a topic that, well, let's face it, impacts all of us.
It really does.
Home climate control.
Oh, yeah. Nothing like feeling perfectly comfortable in your own space, right?
Exactly. And today we're focusing on a specific type of system that's often found in hotels and apartments.
Okay.
And even some homes, PTAC units.
Okay.
Those wall-mounted units that handle both heating and cooling.
PTAC's not exactly a household name, but they play a crucial role in keeping millions of people comfortable year-round.
And you sent us some fantastic material from the HvacRepairGuy YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Including a super detailed page on his website where he rates different PTAC brands.
He does.
I have to say I learned a ton just from skimming through his stuff.
He's a great resource. He really breaks down the complex technical stuff in a way that's easy to understand.
Okay, so let's dive in. Before we get to the ratings, let's start with the basics.
Okay.
For anyone who's not familiar with PTACs, can you give us a quick rundown of what they are?
Sure.
Why someone might choose one?
Absolutely. PTAC stands for Packaged Terminal Air Conditioner.
Okay.
It's essentially a self-contained heating and cooling system,
Okay.
all in one unit that's typically mounted in a wall.
Okay.
They're super common in places where you need individual climate control for each room, like hotels and apartments.
Right, it's like having your own mini HVAC system just for your space.
Exactly.
So why might someone opt for a PTAC over a central air system?
Well, for one, PTACs are often more affordable to install, especially if you only need to cool or heat a single room.
Okay.
They're also relatively easy to replace if something goes wrong, which is a big plus compared to a central system that might require extensive repairs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for someone living in an apartment or even a smaller home, a PTAC could be a really practical option.
Yep.
Now, I know the HVAC Repair Guy has a really clear rating system on his website.
He does.
Could you walk us through how he evaluates these different PTAC brands?
Sure, he uses a combination of color codes and a star rating system. Green means top pick.
Okay.
Yellow is for budget-friendly options.
Gotcha.
And red, well, those are the brands he recommends avoiding.
Got it. A simple traffic light system for PTACs.
Exactly.
And what about the stars?
5 stars means the brand consistently delivers on quality, performance, and features.
Makes sense.
While 1 star, well, you might want to steer clear.
Okay.
What I appreciate about his system is that he doesn't just rely on his own opinion.
Okay.
He digs into the specs, considers user reviews, and really does his homework.
So it's like a combination of expert analysis and crowdsourced feedback.
Exactly.
Sounds like a pretty solid approach.
Yep.
Now let's get to the good stuff.
Okay.
Which brands earned those coveted green top pick badges from the HVA Repair Guy?
Let's start with Amana, a brand that's actually made right here in the USA by Daikin, a major player in the HVAC world. What impressed the HVA Repair Guy, and me too, is their rock-solid warranty.
Okay.
They'll actually replace the entire unit if the compressor fails in the first year.
Wow, that's a level of confidence in their product you don't see every day. That's a huge selling point.
I know, it's great.
Where can you find Amana units?
They're available at Home Depot,
Hmm.
which makes them super accessible for a lot of people, or you can go through a network of Amana dealers.
So Amana is a top contender for quality and reliability.
For sure.
What other brands made it into the green zone?
Comfort Star is another standout. They're only sold through a dealer network, but they're known for their use of R32 refrigerant in their heat pumps.
Okay.
This is a big deal because R32 is much more environmentally friendly than some of the older refrigerants out there.
Okay, so Comfort Star is a good choice for eco-conscious consumers who want to minimize their impact. We're hearing a lot these days about how refrigerants contribute to climate change. So it's good to know there are brands out there taking that seriously. What else sets Comfort Star apart?
Well, the HVAC Repair Guy was also impressed with their quiet operation and their corrosion-resistant coils, which can really extend the lifespan of a unit.
Durability is key, especially when you're talking about a system that's going to be working hard to keep you comfortable year-round.
Right.
Okay, who else made the cut?
Cooper & Hunter earned a green badge as well.
Okay.
They're made in China and available on Amazon, which is convenient.
Oh, yeah?
They also use the eco-friendly R32 refrigerant, and they're known for being quiet operators, which is a huge plus for PTAC.
Quiet is golden,
Yeah.
especially when you're trying to sleep or relax.
Right.
No one wants to hear a noisy AC unit rattling away.
No.
All right, what other top picks did we have?
Gree is another standout, also made in China.
Okay.
They have a fantastic warranty, but there's a catch.
Oh.
They're only available through contractors.
Oh.
So if you're already working with a contractor for a renovation or installation project, Gree might be a good option to consider.
Interesting. So bit more specialized, but potentially worth it if you're going the contractor route.
Yeah.
What did the HVAC repair guy highlight about GRE units?
They're known for their quiet operation thanks to their dual fan motors. Having 2 fans instead of 1 helps distribute the airflow more evenly and reduces noise.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like having 2 quieter voices instead of 1 loud one.
Exactly.
Okay, what was the final brand on the green list?
Last but not least, we have Maestro. These units are made in Italy, and they have a very unique feature.
Yeah.
They use ductwork to pull in air from outside,
Okay.
which makes for a much cleaner look on the building's exterior.
Ooh, that's a nice touch.
Right.
It's not often you hear about PTACs being aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
Right.
They also come with a very good warranty, Wi-Fi connectivity, and you guessed it, super quiet operation.
Okay, so we've got Amana Comfort Star, Cooper, and 100 Degree and Maestro.
Yep.
That's a pretty diverse group, each with its own strengths.
Mhm.
Now, I know the HVAC repair guy didn't just stop at listing the top picks.
Right.
He also dug into some intriguing details about specific brands, even those that didn't quite make it to the green level.
He did.
What were some of the things that jumped out at you?
Well, one that surprised me was ACQ. They're actually made by Carrier, a giant in the HVAC world.
Wow.
But their warranty isn't as strong as some of the other top picks.
That's a good reminder that a big brand name doesn't always guarantee the best value or the most comprehensive coverage. It's important to look beyond the surface and consider the details.
Absolutely. Another interesting one is Air Force. They're a USA-made brand, which is always great to see.
Yeah.
But they have limited dealer availability, which could be a factor depending on where you live.
Location always seems to come into play.
Right.
Okay, what other brand insights stuck with you?
There's Applied Comfort, which seems to specialize in replacing older models.
Interesting.
This could be a great option for people who are dealing with aging PTACs that are starting to show their age.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's Blue Ridge, which is readily available but still uses older technology that impacts both noise and efficiency.
Okay.
So availability doesn't always equate to the latest and greatest technology.
It's like the difference between a flip phone and a smartphone. They both make calls, but the experience is vastly different.
Right.
What about Sentry and Comfort Air? They kind of sound like they come from the same family.
You've got a good ear.
Yeah.
They do indeed come from the same parent company.
Okay.
And both use that eco-friendly R32 refrigerant.
We love to see brands embracing more sustainable practices.
I agree.
What about Friedrich? That one rings a bell.
Friedrich is a well-known brand, part of Rheem Manufacturing.
Okay.
They have a feature called the Fresh Air System,
Okay.
which pulls in filtered outdoor air to improve the overall air quality in the room.
Ooh, that's a pretty cool feature.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh air can make a big difference, especially in a hotel room or apartment where you might not be able to open a window as easily.
Right.
What about Genuine Comfort? I'm intrigued by the name.
Genuine Comfort gets high marks for quiet operation. The HvacRepairGuy actually compares their noise level to a refrigerator,
Really?
which is pretty impressive.
That's amazing, especially for light sleepers like me.
Oh.
Any other brands with standout features?
Hotpoint is one that caught my eye, an auto emergency heat function. It kicks in if the heat pump fails to provide heat, which could be a lifesaver in colder climates. It's like having a backup plan for your heating system.
That's a great feature for peace of mind.
Right.
Okay, last one, King Home. That name doesn't ring a bell.
King Home is made by Gree Electric Appliances.
Oh.
But here's the thing. They have a surprisingly low efficiency rating and are known to be quite noisy.
Okay.
It goes to show that even within the same parent company, you can have significant variations in quality and performance.
So it's really important to look at the individual model, not just the brand name. We've covered a lot of ground here, and I'm starting to feel like a PTAC pro.
You are.
But before we get too carried away with brands and features, I think it's time to step back and talk about those key considerations beyond just the name on the unit.
Yeah.
You know, those factors that can really make or break your experience with the PTAC.
For sure. You're right. Choosing a PTAC goes way beyond just recognizing a brand. You've got to factor in things like efficiency noise level, the type of refrigerant, use special features, and of course the all-important warranty.
Okay, let's break those down one by one, starting with efficiency.
Okay.
What exactly does that mean in the context of a PTAC, and what should we be looking for?
You'll often see something called the EER,
Okay.
which stands for Energy Efficiency Ratio.
Okay.
Basically, it tells you how efficiently the unit converts energy into cooling power.
Gotcha.
The higher the ER, the better.
So a higher ER means lower energy bills, which is
Yeah.
good for our wallets and the planet.
Exactly.
It's a win-win.
Okay.
Efficiency makes perfect sense. Now, what about those refrigerants we talked about earlier? Why should we care about what type of refrigerant is used in a PTAC?
Refrigerants are those chemicals that circulate in the unit to absorb and release heat,
Okay.
allowing it to cool or heat the air.
Got it.
The problem is that some refrigerants, like the older R410A, contribute to global warming.
Okay.
That's why it's so encouraging to see brands like Comfort Star and Cooper and Hunter using R32,
Okay.
which is the much more eco-friendly option.
So R32 is the refrigerant to look for if you're concerned about the environmental impact.
Absolutely.
Okay, next up, noise level. This has to be a big one, especially if you're installing a PTAC in your bedroom or living space.
It can definitely be a deal breaker. Noise levels are measured in decibels.
Okay.
And to give you some context, a quiet library is around 40 decibels.
Okay.
A normal conversation is about 60.
Gotcha.
And a busy city street is closer to 80.
Okay.
You'll want to look for a PTAC with a decibel rating that matches your comfort level. If you're sensitive to noise, aim for a lower number.
That's really helpful. It's one thing to see a number on a spec sheet, but relating it to everyday sounds makes it so much easier to understand what to expect.
Right.
Okay, what about features? We've already touched on some interesting ones like Wi-Fi connectivity and emergency heat. What other features should we be aware of?
Wi-Fi connectivity is becoming increasingly popular because it allows you to control your PTAC from your phone.
Wait.
You can adjust the temperature set timers and even turn the unit on or off remotely, which is super convenient.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you forget to turn it off before leaving for vacation.
Oh, I've totally been there rushing out the door and realizing I left the AC blasting.
Exactly. You can also look for things like different filter types, especially if you have allergies or are concerned about air quality. Some filters are specifically designed to trap dust mites, pollen, and other allergens.
So many things to consider.
Yeah.
It's really about finding the right balance of features and usability that matches your needs.
Absolutely.
Finally, let's talk about the warranty. This is something people often overlook, but it can be a real lifesaver if something goes wrong.
It can. A good warranty demonstrates that the manufacturer stands behind their product. You'll want to look for a warranty that covers both parts and labor
Okay.
for a reasonable period, and pay attention to what's actually covered. We saw how Amana goes above and beyond with their compressor replacement guarantee.
Right. It's all about reading the fine print and understanding what you're getting.
Yes, it is.
Okay. We've covered a lot of ground here, folks, but our PTAC deep dive isn't over yet.
Oh, no.
When we come back, we'll be exploring what these insights from the HvAC Repair Guy really mean for you, the listener,
Okay.
and how you can use this knowledge to make the best PTAC decision for your specific needs.
Right.
Stay tuned.
There's much more to uncover in the world of PTACs.
Welcome back to Comfort Matters.
We've been knee-deep in the world of PTACs, exploring everything from eco-friendly refrigerants to brands that hum as quietly as a refrigerator.
There's certainly more to these units than meets the eye.
Exactly, and I think that's what's so exciting about these deep dives.
Yeah.
We're taking something that might seem mundane at first glance, like a PTAC unit, and uncovering all these fascinating details and considerations. It's also about empowering ourselves as consumers.
Right. Yeah. The more we know, the better choices we can make.
Absolutely.
But now I'm curious.
Yeah.
What does all of this information from the HvAC Repair Guy really mean for our listeners?
Right.
It's one thing to know the specs and the ratings, but how do you actually apply this knowledge when you're out there shopping for a PTAC?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's all well and good to have all this information swirling around in our heads, but it's useless unless we can translate it into action.
So let's say I'm sitting here listening to this episode, and I realize I need a new PTAC unit. Where do I even begin?
The first step is to think about your priorities. What matters most to you? Is it energy efficiency, noise level specific features like Wi-Fi connectivity or emergency heat?
For me, it would definitely be noise level.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, I'm a super light sleeper, so a quiet unit is essential.
Then you definitely want to pay close attention to those decibel ratings we talked about earlier, and you'd prioritize brands like Comfort Star, Cooper, and Hunter, or even genuine comfort with that refrigerator-level hum that the HvAC Repair Guy mentioned.
Ooh, that's tempting. Okay, so I've got my priorities straight. What's next?
Next, consider your budget.
Okay.
PTACs can range in price quite a bit, so it's helpful to have at least a ballpark figure in mind before you start browsing.
Right. No point in falling in love with a top-of-the-line unit if it's going to break the bank.
And this is where the HvAC Repair Guy's ratings can be really helpful. He's got those yellow-coded budget picks that offer good value without sacrificing too much on quality or features.
That's super helpful. So I've got my priorities. I've got a budget in mind. What else should I be thinking about?
Think about your space.
Okay.
How big is the room you're trying to cool or heat? PTACs come in different sizes measured in BTUs, British thermal units.
Okay.
You'll need a unit that's appropriately sized for your space.
Hmm.
A unit that's too small won't be able to keep up, and a unit that's too large will be inefficient and wasteful.
So it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Yeah.
Not too big, not too small, but just right.
Exactly. You want to strike that perfect balance. And don't forget about installation. Are you comfortable installing the unit yourself, or will you need to hire a professional?
That's a good point. I'm not exactly a DIY expert when it comes to things like this.
If you're not comfortable with DIY, it's wise to factor the cost of professional installation into your budget.
Right.
And keep in mind that some brands like Gree are only available through contractors anyway.
Okay, so I've got my priorities, my budget, my room size, and I've figured out the installation situation. Am I missing anything?
Don't forget about the warranty. We talked about how important that is.
Right.
Make sure you understand what's covered for how long and what the process is for making a claim if something goes wrong.
Okay.
You want to be protected if your unit has a problem down the road.
Right, because what good is a fancy new PTAC if it breaks down after a year and you're stuck with a hefty repair bill?
Exactly. A good warranty gives you peace of mind and protects your investment.
Okay, this is all making a lot more sense now.
Good.
But I have to admit, even with all this information, the thought of sifting through different brands and models online or in a store can still feel a bit overwhelming.
I hear you. It can definitely feel like information overload. But remember, the HvacRepairGuy Repair Guy has done a lot of the legwork for you.
Wow.
On his website, he has a fantastic head-to-head comparison tool.
Okay.
Where you can pit different brands against each other and see how they stack up.
That sounds amazing. It's like having a personalized shopping assistant for PTACs.
Exactly. You can compare everything from warranty and efficiency to noise level and features. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of the process.
So the key takeaway here is to use the information we've discussed today as a starting point. Think about your specific needs and priorities, and then use the tools and resources provided by the HvacRepairGuy to narrow down your choices.
Precisely. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge so you can make the best decision for your individual circumstances. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to PTACs. The best unit for you will depend on your unique needs and preferences.
And don't forget to factor in things like aesthetics and the user-friendliness of the control panel. You want a unit that not only performs well, but also fits seamlessly into your space and is easy to operate.
Those are great points. Comfort is about more than just temperature. It's also about creating a harmonious environment that meets your needs and preferences.
Speaking of creating a harmonious environment, there's one more factor we need to discuss: user reviews. They can offer valuable insights into real-world experiences with different PTAC brands and models.
You're absolutely right. User reviews can be a goldmine of information. They can give you a sense of how well a unit performs over time, how easy it is to maintain, and whether it lives up to the manufacturer's claims.
So where can you find reliable user reviews?
Websites like Amazon are a great place to start. You can read reviews from people who have actually purchased and used the units you're considering. And don't forget about the HvacRepairGuy's YouTube channel. He often shares user feedback and insights in his videos.
That's a great reminder. The HvacRepairGuy is a fantastic resource, and we highly recommend checking out his channel for more tips and information on all things HVAC. But wait, there's more. We're not done with our PTAC deep dive just yet. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with some final words of wisdom to help you on your quest for the perfect PTAC.
Stay tuned, comfort seekers. We'll be right back.
And we're back for the final leg of our PTAC deep dive.
It's amazing how much there is to learn about something we often just take for granted, you know?
You said it, we tend to focus on the obvious.
Right.
Does it cool? Does it heat? But as we've learned, there's a whole world of considerations beneath the surface.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Before we wrap things up, I wanted to touch on a few additional factors that might not be top of mind, but can really impact your overall satisfaction with a PTAC.
Excellent point. One thing we haven't discussed much is aesthetics.
Yeah.
While PTACs aren't exactly known for their beauty, some brands put more effort into design than others.
Right, like those Maestro units with their external air intake ducts.
Exactly.
A clever way to make them less visually intrusive.
If aesthetics are important to you, it's worth looking at brands that offer sleek designs or color options that blend well with your decor.
It's all about creating a space that feels both comfortable and visually appealing.
Precisely. Another often overlooked factor is the control panel.
Oh, I've definitely encountered some PTACs with control panels that look like they belong on a spaceship. Not exactly user-friendly.
Right. Think about how tech-savvy you are and how much control you want over things like temperature, fan speed, and timer settings. Some units even have programmable thermostats, which can be a big energy saver.
So many options. It's really about finding the right balance of features and usability that matches your needs and lifestyle.
Couldn't agree more. And speaking of matching your needs,
Yeah.
one final piece of advice I always offer is to consider the specific climate you live in.
That's a great point. A PTAC that works perfectly in a mild climate might struggle to keep up in a region with extreme temperatures.
Exactly. If you live in an area with very hot summers, you'll want to make sure you choose a unit with a high enough BTU rating to handle the heat load. Conversely, if you experience harsh winters, you'll want to pay attention to the heating capabilities of the unit.
So it's not just about finding the best PTAC overall, it's about finding the best PTAC for your particular climate and lifestyle.
You hit the nail on the head. It's all about personalization.
Okay, so to wrap things up,
Yeah.
what are the key takeaways
Yes.
you want our listeners to remember from this deep dive into the world of PTACs?
First and foremost, knowledge is power. Choosing a PTAC is about more than just recognizing a brand name. Do your research, consider your priorities, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
And there's no one-size-fits-all solution. The best PTAC for you will depend on your individual needs, your budget, and even your personal preferences.
Exactly. Use the HvacRepairGuy's ratings and resources as a starting point. But ultimately, the decision is yours. Empower yourself with knowledge and choose a PTAC that aligns with your comfort goals.
And for even more in-depth information tips and product recommendations, don't forget to check out the HVAC Repair Guy's YouTube channel and his Amazon shop for all your heating and cooling needs.
He's a wealth of knowledge, and he makes learning about HVAC surprisingly entertaining.
He really does well. That brings us to the end of our very first episode of Comfort Matters. We hope you found this deep dive informative, engaging, and maybe even a little bit empowering.
And now that you're armed with this knowledge, go forth and conquer the world of PTACs.
And until next time, remember, comfort matters.